Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, I'm going to be building the HAL 9000 1-to-1 scale model kit from Moebius Models. I was actually at a secondhand store earlier this week, and I came across this kit and I just couldn't pass it up. Now, this kit originally came out from Moebius around 2019, and even though I thought it was really cool at the time, I never picked one up. And then, seeing one out in the wild is pretty rare. So typically these go for anywhere from $40 and up on places like eBay. I got this one for $30, so again, a really good deal. And this has just been one of those kits I've, wanted to build for a long time. Now, this is a very simple kit to build. In fact, the challenges will be, and they're minor challenges, will be just doing the paint and stuff. All right, let's open up the box and see what's inside. Okay, first out of the box, we have our instructions, which are, as I said, this is not a complicated kit. That is the entire installation process, this one page. There are call-outs for the paint scheme and what colors you can use, and then a picture of a nicely finished kit. Not much in this kit as far as electronics go. It's an LED with a 9-volt battery plug and an on-off switch. I'm probably going to hook mine up to an AC adapter just so I don't have to worry about batteries. Now, there are some kits available for this model where you can add sound and some special effects, but I looked into them. They're pretty pricey, and for what I'm going to use mine for, I don't think I'm going to go that route. I'm just going to go with the basic LED mode like they have with the kit. Okay, next up we have the main body of the kit. Pretty nice sturdy piece of plastic. I see no flash or anything on that, which is typical for a large piece like this, so that's great. No cleanup there. Next, we have a small bag, and this is going to be our electronics package, which is basically, like I said, a 9-volt plug, an on-off switch, and one red LED. There's also some double-sided sticky tape. They want you to use this to attach a battery back here, but again, not going to be using that. Okay, here we have our other parts. We've got a nice little display that has embossed 2001 A Space Odyssey on the stand. And you can leave this on the stand or take it off the stand and hang it on the wall, however you want. We've got a really nice looking speaker grill here. And we have the lens. Now, in the movie, they actually used an actual camera lens for the prop. So this is a model of that camera lens, I suppose. So that's pretty cool. And then we have our clear pieces. It's two lenses. It's a smaller lens here for inside, and then the larger lens for the top. And then last, we have our decal sheet, which is the HAL 9000 logo that's going to go on there, and also the camera logo, made in Japan, camera decals for around the lens. All right, so that's everything that comes in the box. Like I said, a very simple, easy to build kit. I am going to paint mine, but I guess technically you could just throw this together and it would look kind of cool. The different colors of gray, there's a darker gray and a lighter gray for the castings, which is nice, but I am going to paint mine. Now, in addition to building this kit in this video, I was also contacted by Gaahleri, and they sent me some of their ColorWorks, their new paints. This is their 12 metal color set. So it's 12 different metallic colors, and comes in a really nice box. The paints are in these little bottles here. Really nice packaging. These are all acrylic type based paints. And for this kit, I'm going to use several of their colors from this kit. This is a gunmetal color. I'll be using that on the grill, I think. This one is silver, which is a really nice looking silver. I'm going to use on the body. I may change that. I may go with a more aluminum color. I'm not sure yet. And then we have this titanium alloy, which is also a really nice looking color. So we're going to give these paints a try. Also, they sent me some of their primer. This is a black primer. I'm going to use this on the entire kit to prime it. And for this black part of the model, I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it the primer, but we'll see how this primer goes on, how it sticks, how it holds up, because once I paint this area all in primer, I'll have to mask off the black part to paint the outer rim and the body of it, silver, aluminum, whatever I end up going with. So this is going to have to stand up to some heavy masking tape. So we'll see how it performs in that manner. And to spray all those paints, they also sent me this really cool 0.5 millimeter fan cap trigger type dual action airbrush. Now, I do have an older Gaahleri trigger style airbrush, but it doesn't have a fan cap, and it's also, I think it's a 0.3 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really interested to try out, for one, the fan cap, because you can get a bigger area, especially for priming large kits like this. But I just want to tell you, my initial impression of this thing is, dang, I mean, this feels like a really premium airbrush, even compared to the other Gaahleri one I have. This just feels really nice. And I mean, look at the details in here. I mean, this just looks really nice. Everything fits well. The threads are really well machined. Look at even the color in there, the color contrast. Just a really nice looking airbrush. Now, the older Gaahleri I have used for a long time. You've seen it in many of my videos, and I really like it. And I'm hoping that this one is the same, if not better, than the old one I have. Because if it is, I mean, this is going to be a really good addition to my airbrush arsenal. Like I said, this does have the fan cap, so it's going to spray in a different pattern. It'll be more flat instead of a round pattern, which again, for doing large areas, that's what you want. This plastic trigger handle is really comfortable in the hand. Plenty of room for my fingers. The trigger doesn't hit my finger. Some airbrushes, that's what happens. I have pretty large hands. It does come with a very large cup, which, I mean, for a 0.5, you're going to typically be using more paint. That makes sense. However, the threads for the cups are identical to my older Gaahleri, so they're interchangeable. So I'll use my smaller cup for my other Gaahleri when I need to use less paint. And even though this one does come with a fan cap, it also comes with the standard round cap nozzle that you can use for just spraying a normal round pattern. So because you can dial this down and control it, I'm thinking that I'll probably be able to do some fairly small work with this too, not just big work. It also has a MAC valve on here on the physical airbrush. I'm not a huge fan of these MAC valves, but I guess it's kind of nice to have that additional way to adjust your air pressure. I have an air pressure regulator on my Quick Connect, so I can just control it from right there. But yeah, really looking forward to trying out this airbrush and these paints and see how they do. All right, friends, well, with all of that said and done, let's quit wasting time on all this other stuff and get to the build. we've got everything primed, and I have to say this Kaleido primer went on really well. It covered well. It dried really fast. I mean, this has only been a little bit of time, maybe 20-30 minutes. And granted, I wouldn't really work too hard with this yet, but I mean, this dried to the touch. It's not leaving any marks. It's on there really well. Even this here came out really well. You can see the knurling around that for the camera lens where you would, grab it to focus. And this main portion here came out really nice. Now, there is a texture on this part. It almost looks like a wood grain. I'm not sure what they're going for, but there is a texture on it. But as far as the non-textured parts, I mean, look at that. That's really nice. And I have to say, I'm actually pretty impressed with this airbrush. I mean, it worked really well, and even with the fan cap. Now, I had my pressure set pretty low because the primer feels pretty thin. I mean, it's pretty thin primer. It's not thick at all. And you saw in the video, I went straight from the bottle right into the airbrush. I didn't thin it or anything. They did send me some retarder thinner that I used to clean up the cup, and it actually worked really well to break that paint up and clean it up. And also, when I cleaned my airbrush, I did it the way I do all of my airbrushes. I did use the thinner in the cup because some of the paint had dried because it took me a while to do the painting, but that thinner broke it up really quick. And then I just sprayed water in it to flush everything out, took the parts out, the needle out, cleaned them up, put it back together. Very easy to clean, very easy to maintain. So yeah, very happy with that. Now on the next batch of parts that I paint, I'm going to be using the regular cap, not the fan cap, because I'm going to be painting this grill here a different color. I'll be painting these parts a gloss black or a semi-gloss black. I'm not sure yet. This one, I may just leave it as it is and just clear coat it. We'll see. And then this needs to be sealed in a semi-gloss black as well. I will say the parts, no cleanup. I mean, there was nothing to clean up. Everything is molded really well, really clean. Granted, we're not dealing with a lot of parts here, and they are rather large parts. But yeah, so far so good. All right, well, this is going to have to dry. I want to let it dry for at least a day or two before I do anything else, especially masking off anything. But so far so good. So let's get back to the build. Okay, friends, so we have added some more paint to our parts and some clear. So I painted this in the this Kaleido silver metallic, and came out really nice. I mean, this is a really sharp finish. The paint went on great. No cracks, no issues. It dried really fast again as well. Also for the speaker plate here, I ended up using the acrylic stainless steel in the metal color. And as you can see in the video, the paint went on really heavy, or really fast compared to the primer. Now for the primer, I had my pressure set pretty low. For this, I upped my pressure to what I normally use, which is about 20 pounds, 20 PSI. And with the 5.5 millimeter nozzle on this, it really pushes out a lot of paint. So when I go to paint, if I go to paint these or paint with these colors again with this airbrush, I would definitely lower my pressure back down to, I want to say it was probably around 10 PSI, maybe 12 PSI. But again, it's a large needle, so it's going to push out a lot of paint. And then I used their semi-gloss varnish. And again, like you saw in the video part, I'm just pouring it right from the bottle, right into the airbrush. And this is a really nice clear. I mean, it looks really nice. It's a nice semi-gloss. I don't know if you can tell the contrast here. This is just primer, so it's pretty flat. And then the semi-gloss on the lens here. I also did a semi-gloss on the base, and came out really good. So yeah, everything's coming along great. I did want to point out, the more I use this airbrush, the more I really like it. Again, it's great for large pieces. It's a little more challenging for smaller pieces. I wouldn't use this for fine detail work, that is for sure. Even on low pressure, it's still going to push out a lot of paint. But one thing I did want to point out is, not only does this thing feel really premium, and also as you can see, I have my smaller cup on here, it's very easy to clean. I mean, so let me show you. This is my older Gaahleri, the GH8068, and it's a nice airbrush. I use this thing a ton. This is only a point, I want to say it's a 0.2 or a 0.3. I can't remember exactly, but it's definitely smaller. It's not a 0.5. But nothing wrong with this airbrush, but I wanted to show you, when you go to clean and disassemble this thing, you know, first you got to take off the little, unscrew this, the little cap thing. And then, well, actually, let's take the back off so we can back the needle out. And then you got to take off this. And then you've got the nozzle. And the nozzle is really small. And like I said, this is a really well-working paintbrush. And I think I only spent like maybe $60 on this one. I don't remember, but it wasn't a lot of money. So you've got this for the nozzle, and then your needle. Now, compared to this one, take the back off this one, besides this one being prettier, loosen up our needle, pull it out a little bit. The way they've designed this, you don't have an end cap. It's built into this, okay? And the way this one comes off is you've got this ring that you just unscrew, and then you pull this off, and then here is the actual nozzle. And it's kind of hard to see on screen maybe, but if you can look at these pathways, they're kind of spiraled. I'll see if I can get a better picture if I need to and put it on the screen, but they're not just straight. And according to their documentation, this is so it kind of spins the air to give you a little more, where it oxygenates the air. I can't think of the word now, but you know what I'm talking about, where it aerates the paint, turns it into more of a mist. This works real well, but you can see here, then you just pull out your needle. That's it. That's it. They're not small, tiny little pieces. Again, this is 0.5, but still the design is the same. So then what I do is I pull my needle out, I rinse out my cup and I rinse this out, and then I get some cleaner on a little wire brush. I stick it in here just to make sure I'm getting all the paint out, rinse it out again. That's done. Clean off my needle, put the needle back through. Being careful not to poke myself. And then I clean this in cleaner. I use a little, have a little, looks like the end of a needle you put through here, but it's cut in half so you can kind of get out any pieces of paint that dried in there. But if you do it right away, you're not going to get any dried paint. But this just sits in here like that. And then you take this, you just stick it over the top, and or the fan cap, same thing. And then this little ring just cinches everything up. Now, on this design, I have to put wax on these rings here because what happens is the threads don't seal as tightly sometimes, and you'll get air coming out through these threads, which kind of throws off your spray pattern and everything and makes it not perform as well. But there's always air leaking around here. I mean, even with wax, sometimes I'll get some air leaking. And granted, a little bit of air is no big deal. But you can usually work through that, but it does leak some air. This new airbrush doesn't hardly leak any air. I mean, I noticed it was leaking a little bit. I just tightened it up a little bit and it stopped. So this design fixes that problem, or at least on mine it is. You know, your actual mileage may vary, but on mine it actually stops that air leaking. So the airflow on this is very consistent. And I'm really liking it, I have to say. For an airbrush of this caliber, I just can't say enough of it. This is a really nice airbrush, guys. So if you're looking, even if you're a beginner and you're not doing detailed parts, say you build model cars and you just want to be able to primer and spray paint model cars really easily in most of the parts, this is a great airbrush. You could get this and some of these Kaleido paints that are already pre-thinned for the airbrush. All you need is a compressor with this and you're good to go. So far, really good airbrush. All right, so we've got these parts taken care of. Next, I think I'm going to, I may give this another little time to dry. I just want to make sure this is dried really well before I start masking everything off, because you want to let your paint dry if you're going to be using masking tape on it, because it'll come up if you don't. And granted, I've never used this paint before, so we'll find out together how it holds up. So yeah, we're going to keep going on this build and super excited about it. All right, back to the build. All right, friends, we are making some progress on this. So I masked off this main piece here, and then I sprayed it in the metallic silver color from the Kaleido range, and came out really nice crisp lines. When I sprayed this color, I did use a really low pressure to start to kind of seal in around the mask. So when I went on a little heavier, it wouldn't seep in, and it worked. It gave me a really nice crisp line all the way around. The paint, even on the higher pressure, it went down just great. The low pressure went on great too. Just with that 0.5, it is going to push a lot of paint, but even though I'm pushing out a lot of paint, it still just went on and looks great. I mean, it really looks nice. Now, this isn't the final finish on this. Once, as you can see, I also put on my decal up there, and it is currently drying. I want to let that dry really well, and then I'll put a clear semi-gloss coat over the whole thing. On the lens here, I put on my decals for the lens, and again, these are drying. Once that dries, I will clear coat that again. These pieces here are ready to be installed. And then I have the base. Now, it has 2001 A Space Odyssey raised on this. And I was going to start to paint that by hand, but then I remembered Gaahleri also sent me a set of their water-based acrylic ink markers in the metallic color range. And they have a silver one. Or actually, this is aluminum. It's the lightest of the colors. So I think I'm going to get this pen figured out and working, and then we're going to try to do this with the pen and see how that comes out. All right, let's get back to the build. So that actually came out pretty good. I actually caught the tip of the pen on the edge a couple times, and when I did that, it kind of splattered a little bit. So I've got a few little dots there that I'll need to take care of, but that'll be quick and easy. I'll just use a really small paintbrush and the primer and just dab it on there, and you'll never even know. But that pen worked really well. It's got a really firm tip with a nice point on it, so it gives you a lot of control. Came out really good. So far that pen works really good. I'll use some of the other colors on some other builds when I need them, and I'll let you know how those all work out, but for this particular one, worked out great. All right, friends, well, with the clear coat on everything now, and my touch-ups done, as you can see, I touched up that base there. Came out really good. My goodness, that looks good. All right, and we've got our clear coat on here and our clear coat on here. That came out great. All right, so we're pretty much in the final steps here. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling everything, and we'll be right back with an update. So on with the build. All right, friends. Well, here he is, the HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey and 2010, the year we made contact. In model form, 1:1 scale is complete, and I think it came out really nice. As you can see, HAL's alive now. He's got his LED on there. We got an on-off button on the side here, but most of the time he's going to be on. And as you can see here, there is a cord coming off. This is I took out the 9-volt battery connector, glued in an old USB cord. It's plugged into my USB port over here, providing power. And so HAL can stay online 24/7. So this was a really fun and easy kit to build. It was even easy to paint. The masking is the only real challenging part as far as painting goes, but some patience and some good masking tape will do great. And then the detail on the base here, I mean, other than that, it's very straightforward. And you don't even have to wire it for USB power. You could just use a 9-volt battery. The decals around the camera lens part were kind of brittle. You can kind of see in the video how I had to kind of be really careful putting them on. The decal up top here, the HAL 9000 decal, went on excellent. Laid down perfectly flat. I put some decal setting solution on there and it dried up great. And then the semi-gloss coating on the entire unit really brings it all together and just makes it look really sharp. And then I have to mention these Kaleido acrylic paints from Kaleido and Gaahleri. The black primer, excellent primer. You saw me masking this and pulling off the masking tape, and I didn't just use model masking tape. I used blue painter's tape, which has a bit more adhesive to it. You can't even tell. That primer held up really well. And the black part on here is just the black primer with a clear semi-gloss acrylic from Kaleido over the top to seal it in. Also, I have to say their metallic colors worked great. Really happy with those. I'm really excited to use the other colors that came in the color kit. Some really sharp looking colors in there. And even the the painting pen from them worked really well on this base as well. And then I have to say this airbrush, I really like it. It worked really good. The fan cap attachment worked great. You saw me use it. I mean, I used this airbrush on this entire kit and all of their Kaleido paints, nothing else. So really good paintbrush. I will say this is not a one and done paintbrush. I mean, it could be, but for smaller parts, you're going to need something with a smaller needle. Now, if you didn't want to get one of these, This older one that is still available, the Gaahleri GHAD 68, I found my kit. This one actually comes, this is a 0.3 something needle, and it does come with a 0.5 needle. It does have the older style cap assembly, but it's still good. It works really well, really easy to clean. And this could really be your one and done airbrush. I mean, you could do this for, with a 0.5 needle in there for big areas. It doesn't have a fan cap, but you can get a lot of paint through it. And then the smaller needle and cap for your smaller paint jobs. But really good airbrush, not very expensive at all. And then their paints. I mean, their paints are pre-mixed for the airbrush, and they worked really well right out of the bottle. Now, if you're interested in buying either of these or the paints, you can get them on the Gaahleri site. There's a QR code on the screen. I'll also leave a link in the description below. And if you go to the Gaahleri site and in checkout, you put in the discount code PIW10, stands for Plastic Imagination Workshop. PIW10 will get you 10% off your order. So that's going to save you a little bit of money right there. And then the HAL 9000 kit, if you want to get one of these, well, good luck. They're out there. You can get them on eBay. I've found them occasionally on Amazon and other places. You can find them. And I really suggest, if you're a fan of the movies and HAL, I would get one and build it. It's really quick and easy to build. This is basically a weekend build. So definitely a kit to have, and a kit that's worth having if you're a fan of the Space Odyssey movies and HAL. All right, friends. Well, if you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, which a lot of you haven't, click that subscribe button down below. It helps out the channel and I would really appreciate it. Please check out all of my other links down in the description. There is a link down there for my t-shirt shop where you can get shirts, stickers, mugs, all kinds of cool stuff, scale model theme stuff, all designed by me. Buy me a coffee. That link is down there as well. And other than that, friends, I just really appreciate you guys stopping by and watching the channel. It really means a lot to me. I just really enjoy sharing this hobby with all of you and getting new people involved. I know through my channel, there's lots of people that have gotten into building scale models. That really is awesome. And there's a lot of people that have got back into building scale models. So it really is a great hobby to get into. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get into it, to get started. It's just an all-around awesome hobby. All right, friends. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, everyone just be safe out there and go build something.